Welcome back, folks. Our political insider. How long will this White House continue to let the gray, dark clouds of Russia distract them from the business at hand? But first, with the Heritage Foundation, the Club for Growth, and the Freedom Caucus in the House of Representatives all defiant against this healthcare overhaul, has Team Trump spent too much political capital and something even more precious, time, pursuing this. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yes.
I have a feeling that they put a little bit too much emphasis on this healthcare overhaul when they could have been getting singles and base hits and doubles instead of trying to go for the grand slam right out of the box.
Well, I don't think that they put too much emphasis. I think they put it in front of everything. I think the timing and the placing of the Affordable Care Act and all the elements of it, there's so many elements of it. You're right, it's sagging the whole program. The first 100 days is almost beginning to be a joke, because what are we going to get out of the first 100 days? That'd be, what, February, March. At the end of April, 100 days are up. I don't think there'll be anything to show for it at that particular time. I hope he has a whole cabinet by that time. And I think, unfortunately, what happens is a new president is judged by how quickly and effectively he does something that makes a change and a betterment in comparison to his predecessor.
Right. You're not just getting a permit for a new ice skating rink at the park.
No. This whole Affordable Care Act was the whole thing was a basic hoax to begin with. It was using the money that should have gone into infrastructure to get this health thing going, and you get two people, and one person will say, "Oh my God, now I can't have my kid being on my insurance policy until 26 years," and it was a lie that I could get my. The other guy will say, "Well, it was a lie that I could get any doctor I want." The thing is so mixed up, and so you remember Pelosi saying, let's pass it, then we'll read it.
Yeah.
It just shows that the liberal element in this country today has had the run of this country for the last 8 years, and they're not letting go easily.
Longer than that, even. Let's go back to, you can even say Bush was not a fiscal conservative. He certainly was not a foreign policy conservative. I can't say that the guy was a conservative at all.
George Bush made the carpet for Obama to come in, because people were disgusted with the Iraq situation by that time, which killed a lot of our people, and it was confusing. And then, of course,
maybe the dumbest foreign policy decision in the history of the country.
He did, and then, of course, you had the mortgage-backed security derivatives that turned out to be worth nothing. So he left a major disaster economically. He left us with a major disaster foreign policy-wise. That opened the door to somebody as incompetent as Obama.
So let's get back to the Affordable Care Act and why they would even want to take it on the way they are. You could have, how many people were uninsured when they took this whole thing on? 30 million maybe?
Something like that.
Okay, so you're telling me we had to spend trillions of dollars to insure those 30 million? And the thing is, it's not like they didn't have health treatment or health care. They just didn't have health insurance. But they could go to any hospital in the country and get treated. Exactly. So who cares about having a card that says insurance? It's about being treated when you're injured.
What do you remember when, as soon as Obama was elected, he called for Rahm Emanuel because his brother was the one that was going to come up with this whole Ezekiel. That was the whole game. But he wanted Rahm as his chief of staff, which he got. That I remember at the time, I said, why is he so anxious to get a congressman who really hasn't proven himself to be anything other than a local congressman?
Oh, he got stuff done.
Oh, he got stuff done, exactly.
He was aggressive. I think that was a smart move by Obama.
Oh, yes, it was, but I didn't understand it at the time. I learned fast. And go back to the fact that the $1 trillion that he got was spent on things that he wanted personally to see done.
So couldn't we just implement the health savings accounts? Implement buying insurance over state lines? Why do you have to take the whole thing on and wrestle with it? Why can't they just implement the things that should have been done to lower the premiums? Tort reform. They don't need to redo the healthcare law to do that.
Yeah, but you see, that's Congress. I mean,
So they're wasting time. They're wasting capital. In my
That's
opinion.
right, and cutting ground out from under the president too. I mean, because if he's stuck with something that's hanging in midair 30, 60, 90 days from now, whatever he wants to do in the future will also be sucked into that same hole.
Excellent segue, Mr. Beschloss. Speaking about things that are hanging in the air, how about this dark, ridiculous cloud of the Russian influence? Everybody knows that Russia didn't send 30,000 people to stadium after stadium after stadium. Russia didn't drug Hillary Clinton and throw her in the back of that van on September 11th. Russia didn't get the people out to the polls to vote for Trump. They didn't stop Hillary from going to Wisconsin. So this whole collusion thing is pretty ridiculous. Why does the White House allow them to drag them into this quagmire?
Well, and unfortunately, Trump made a stupid mistake by going after Obama. Obama is of no consequence anymore. It's like going back and saying, well, he was a guy that worked against me with the Russians or without the Russians. He won. When you win, you don't go to a loser and say, you try to make me lose.
Well, the mistake he made was he fingered Obama personally by saying he wiretapped him.
Exactly. Absolutely. Because what he's doing, he's showing a tendency to be kind of infantile in the way he acts.
Doesn't he need somebody to babysit him and oversee his tweets before he sends them?
I just said that.
He needs somebody to look over his shoulder and agree and green light or red light everything that he does.
The emotional nature of any human being cannot be changed unless that person wants to be changed. And unfortunately, twittering and so on is childish.
Well, it depends on what you're doing with the Twitter, because he's reaching the American people, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But when you do these ridiculous
But he doesn't
tweets,
need to. When he goes and makes a speech like he did in the last few weeks, and he does reach people, starting all the way back when he was a candidate. He went to Mobile, Alabama in August. Instead of 2,000 people, he got 28,000 people. And he has the ability to do that.
I want to talk about the Supreme Court. Neil Gorsuch is the nominee. 10 years ago, unequivocally, he was passed by every single Democrat, including Obama and Clinton and Schumer and Reid and all the rest of them. Now, all of a sudden, they have huge reservations against him. Is this hypocrisy on display?
And now it's the only thing that they got left. The Democrats are so disorganized and so weak and don't have any leading personages in their quiver that they're going to be no on everything. You could have the Son of God himself coming down and presenting himself to, oh no, this is not the right guy.
Always pointing to the extremists, which they didn't find him extreme 10 years ago on the federal bench. So,
but that's not the point. It's all politics. They are desperate to show that they're doing something, and they're doing something is called negativity.